in their performance here in the Americas League. Furia and MIBR, I think one thing as well, call us Stat Stevens, but MIBR is 1 out of 4 games played on Pearl. That one win over at Crew. So it's not looking good. 25% win rate on this map. Furia picking right into it.
Well, they've gotten the opener. They've struggled at pistols. And they're up big here.
I think one thing I saw on stage leading into this, and we actually heard it as well, MIBR much more energized actually than Furia. It seemed like they came into this angry because during Super Week, they had the worst Super Week series of matches. 0-2 and only won total of 18 rounds.
18.
Over 4 maps, it's not looking good. So you have to expect the team that beat NRG in the week prior to come in with some fury.
This is going to be fury required from the defensive side here. They find themselves in a 2v4 post plant.
He's exposed there.
Yep. Oh my gosh. He shouldn't have gotten away with that one. Khalil has shown up now. Got a little help. They've got some numbers and they've got a couple of frags. But it's going to fall on MW to get the 1v2 and he cannot.
Good recovery there. It looked for a second like they might lose control once that flash went out, but nobody from Furia, neither MW or Khalil, swung with that. So a lot of contact on it, but nobody able to complete this situation. Good trades from MIBR, but also Furia getting very aggressive in middle as the defenders. And Sean was mentioning on the desk as well about how that defensive side with the old comp from Furia was really rough against Leviathan. See if that continues.
Holy aggression, bro. They just wanted to take this fight, main. It's now the second round in a row that we see Furia try to dictate the pace at the opening of the round.
And 2 interesting walls as well. A high tide, obviously, to control and push with that aggression that you were talking about, but the Viper wall as well, all focused towards A.
They had a flash over the top, too. There was a lot invested into this area of the map. But much like we saw in the previous round, it ends in a, mind you, this is because they had better guns, but it ends in another round win for MIBR.
Beta and Tashina spoke about the Brazilian casters, how MIBR was lacking in pistol rounds. And I think that definitely rings true, but a lot was lacking last week. So to see RGL get up there, and I think particularly Muriz, who is such a strong fragger for this team, and also the IGL. If he could start getting going, that seems to me would indicate a different MIBR than what we saw in Super Week. Still time to play, going straight into that cascade down B long to get a little bit of control. Skipping the Viper Orb. And it looks like we're gonna have a classic B long retake here by Furia. There's only 2 players here to receive. And with the Reckoning as well, they're gonna have to fall off the site.
Heat's already dashed backside too. The alarm bot is still up. They're finally getting cleared out.
There is a possibility of a smoke here if you can find it. They're running it down though.
Dash across, great crosshair placement. DG, the desk mentioned previously on the Neon, now on the Jet. Looking to make a play, and he cannot. Oh gosh! Oh no! They were all flashed.
And you're looking at a save situation here immediately from Furia. MIBR looking very nice off the get-go. FRZ with a massive round. I think when you watch the game against NRG where they got that upset win, and you watched a couple of their early brawls against Loud and so on, it was basically not just the story of Heat. I know he's a very important and pivotal member on this squad. At one point taking 38% of the opening duels for the team. It's everybody. Everybody was popping off. And FRZ in this case, I mean, playing around that jet smoke so well that Digizin used to, like you said, dash across to get past that map, but easily able to actually work with that smoke against them.
5-1 start for RGL, 5-1 start for FRZ, and a light buy for Furia. Just 2 Phantoms going into this next round. I don't know what she was saying. I'm sure it was important.
Trains leaving the station.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Cascades is interesting. They're not... Okay, the Cascade's a little bit later, but they've already lost Cubby.
Yeah, look at this setup. They actually have... Mazda has the Viper Ball. It's the Vietnam strat, the eco round. But nobody's swinging.
Not yet. Oh, they've cleared out Cubby, and they've taken care of FW. Well, they don't know that one's still here? Okay, that's one.
Only ever going to get a trade there just with the Sheriff. And I think importantly there, Furia, I mean, with a really cool idea, really cool strat, Leviathan has been running that a lot by just throwing the molly in the back of map where we had that duel in the last round, and then swinging hard with it, causing the players on the attack to be all different positions than you're expecting. And this one hurts because you had 2 rifles engaged in this map. I'm surprised actually that you didn't have the majority of them with that hit, because if they did go for the B-long like they did, then all of a sudden you actually have firepower there to match them. This is a very good start from MIBR. I mean, already matching some of the maps that they've had last 2 matches, and we just keep having to bring that back up because we have seen so many different MIBRs show up at lock-in, early on in America's League, then in Super Week, then against NRG, like just a million versions.
That's the only gun they had left. They were trying to save a Phantom and they couldn't even do that.
Trying to save it 2 rounds in a row too.
Yeah.
And you actually do get like a little bit behind economically by saving a weapon compared to the rest of your team, especially if you don't win the next round. So he's going to be a little bit rough for where at after rebuying a rifle there. Still got all his util. But down to light armor, which is fine, generally speaking. But the Brazilian teams have actually not gone for the light armor strat like the North American teams have.
Off in the hands of DG's in too. He's playing backside right now. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any early contest though.
Digizin has been struggling so far in these first 4 rounds. He's died 3 times first. Now he has the op in his hands. But he's posted in a direction that MIBR, they are a team that can pivot. They have shown the propensity to be able to do that. Back into mid, but I don't think that they're looking for a B hit here.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Given their cascade.
Given the lockdown too, so you're looking at where FRZ is moving right now in A main. Is he gonna set up against this? But Khalil is here with that Vandal. If he can target down FRZ, that would be huge. Now he's gonna give up the site though. And Furia just rotated 4 away.
The lockdown you just mentioned finally being dropped. There's still some Killjoy utility they're gonna have to get through, courtesy of Khalil.
Look at the mid control still held by MIBR though. Nuriz is still watching this double door reflank that Furia is actually going for. He's just made noise that he's fallen off though.
That timing could be disastrous. It is just Miri's holding that too.
This plan is so late.
Heat's already dropped, and you're giving up a good bit of secret. I mean, the wall's gone down now. There's that first kill.
Oh, they split up, Doug.
I still don't think they're going to be expecting a second though. Mazin's got to be pacey though. Man, he's got to go. He's got to take some space away here. There's the first onto him. Now position given away. Mazin just, I mean, he found so much value out of that.
Yeah, you're right. Muri has completely lost track of the possibility of a second there. And RGL was actually setting up to throw more Harbor util, so he was completely out of the play. Good round from Furia, but I honestly think MIBR kind of gifted that to them. That lockdown went down, and they had sight for so long, but they still waited till 12 seconds to get that plant down. Remember, there was only 1 player here. Khalil fell way off. Okay.
I don't even think I saw Heat.
Just a little sliver past the high tide. And there you see images of Carlao as well. The head coach for Fury, who's been unfortunately not here within the first 4 weeks for Furia, but they still got out to a good start. So he must be incredibly proud of his team for what they accomplished without him.
Dude, DG just ate that flash by himself, didn't even back up a ton, didn't get the dash ready. Hey, he's insane.
Poison's off.
Jets often try to cheat the dash so that they can have it later on in the round in more impactful positions. And there's the first duel between Heat and Digizin. and Digison wins it out, but that's because he has that op online after the first couple of losses. And he's repositioned over towards A. This is a really nice way to play this for Furia. Still so much mid presence for them, and Mazid's in trouble though. And the team is not in place to reposition it, help him fast enough. That lockdown is great though from Khalil in backhaul.
Reckoning's gonna create some space.
They're pushing it. They think they have time. They do.
2 seconds. Yeah, just a little over a second and a half left. Seekers are gonna clear out B-Link too. You've got Khalil in a decent spot to help once they're ready to pounce. Once they're ready to strike. 2 backside here. DG just waiting for the challenge long.
This time there's nobody in position to actually hold this. Remember the last time they went for this double flank? It got destroyed.
I mean, they're not playing for both lane utility either. Miri's the only one with Amali's close, but they swing by themselves. Miri's is able to get the first. MW has to take a step back now. 3v3. The op is down. MW takes care of Miri's. A 2v2 as the spike ticks away. RGL having to hold the line now.
It's giving up that it's not halved yet.
MW on the tap. 32 HP.
Time.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough. It's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Maybe a second and a half left.
And again, these rounds on both sides are taking so long to get in position. And I think that there critically, MIBR got the right pick on actually QCK, who was running down on that flank. He threw a cascade to block backhaul, but he died before he was able to stop it. So when they were continuing in that retake attempt, there was actually no vision blocker on backhaul, and they're able to peek that. MW has really no choices. And so it leads to a first timeout. The first round win for Furia immediately responded to by MIBR. Carlisle and Bazooka, first chances now to add their flair, their adjustments on this map. I think the critical thing I'm talking about here, if I'm Carlisle, is this mid pressure from MIBR in the mid round. It's not necessarily even followed up by like a cascade or high tide like you see from Loud. It's a lot more brawly, which you would expect Furia players to be happy with. But right now, it's just not clicking, and a lot of times you're seeing, like in that last round, Mazin completely isolated by himself. I wonder if, because they're not using the Harbor utility, and instead they're using the Viper util to take mid, that's throwing them off and throwing their protocols for a loop, because everybody is currently in the meta using that Harbor high side.
Yeah. We'll see what adjustments are made, if any, on the other side of this timeout. MIBR with the 4-round lead. I mean, it's been by committee. I mean, RGL is just having himself a field day.
Yeah, but everybody else by committee. He has knives too, not looking like he's going for any fast up traps or anything like that. Just right back into this. You've got to be careful here. MIBR might expect a light buy, but instead Fury's going for a full force with the light armor.
This is a deeper flasher out of JZZ2 to make sure they didn't get into the same fight that they got into a couple of rounds ago around Pillar. So they have the cascade blocking off backside, the flash behind Pillar, make sure there's no one around, and they can comfortably take the space and the orb.
So flank engagement at double door is happening as well right now. And he made noise, so he's going for it. They didn't get in here because of the Reckoning. Khalil as well is swinging with it, and they get a spam kill.
And he died. He took so much damage on the entry. He's no longer around now, and the spike still isn't down. It's still not necessarily out on site. This may be a very good hold by Furia.
Spike down B.
Poison's off.
Always love seeing new skins in the game. UCK catching FRZ asleep.
A lot of people getting caught by unexpected angles here.
Yeah.
Especially MW on the player who pushed into B-Link there from the bottom side.
30 seconds left.
Samir is 1v4.
Toxin screen down.
Start. They're lined up here.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
I saw it. They were lined up.
You did.
He had an opportunity to go for reset. I think still 15 seconds on that too.
Yeah.
Fury, I mean, making mistakes like that are going to make it really hard for them to get back into this game. And remember, this is their map pick. And switching comps as well. Back to something a little bit more favored in the meta.
I want to see you.
And this one is tough as well. A role swap too. Remember, Khalil was playing that Viper. Mazin was playing Breach to set up the Neon in the previous iteration of this.
It's a little late to be. Surprised he's still committed to the pit. I guess it's just off the cascade. That's just going to give MIBR a lot of info and a lot of time.
Probably setting up the Viper Orb in mid at the beginning of the round. So he's able to get back in time, and that does push MIBR off. They're not a team who will take fights through Viper pits super often.
MIBR back to that mid aggression. And they've left Muri's by himself to see if he can get something cheeky.
Does he really want to lurk through here?
That Trailblazer is going to get a lot of info. I believe it just spotted one, but between that and then all of the bullets that you're hearing in Art, you know that there's a hit this way. Bullets finally taking their time, but landing.
And the spam from MW too.
Poison orb
That
emitting.
heat versus Digizin battle definitely labored. But
30
Digizin gets
seconds
the
left.
better of it at the end and able to also follow up with another kill too and get away with his life. Locks up the round here. You definitely see what they were intending there. They're hoping for that Viper pit to drop. You're hoping for Mazin to rotate off when the hit comes through and you can get a nasty flank timing.
10 seconds
One that's
left.
unexpected. A lot of the players on defense, when they're retaking A, they're paying attention to the sewers flank, but not the B flank. So it could have been a dangerous Thorn. But instead, they just get wiped out in Art. And it's not like they were losing anything from not having Muriz there, but because he already committed his orb, he already committed his wall as well. Just more bodies in a sense.
Yeah, just another gun. Sure. Speaking of another gun, doesn't look like that'll be the case for Heat this time around. Has blades on mine, but a quick timeout to think things over.
It's on the side of Bazooka and MIBR. Give a chance to talk to the IGL Muriz, try to figure it out how you can force your way through situations like that. But I'm not sure if that round specifically anything MIBR did was particularly wrong. I think the mid presence could still end up working. I mean, in that round, you should have gotten that kill on Digizin.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those players gave Digizin the attempt to re-fight that, and 5-3 definitely. I think this could start to get swinging back into Furious direction. But you also don't even have that op online for Digizin, so that was the big threat that I was starting to think was really going to cost them some problems.
Yeah, what was key perhaps. But you're right, still has the blades. I think we mentioned that a couple of rounds ago. Hasn't used them, has the Vandal for this round, but a little bit of more time to think things through as we exit the timeout. MIBR with the 2-round lead. Fury have won 3 of the last 4 here, and that's not with the op every single round like you were just talking about.
Also wasn't many key ults to be talking about in the next few rounds, so probably not a big factor, although Muriz has his.
Get out of my way.
So if they can get on the site, could be nice, but just in getting aggro.
Spike down B.
I think he is heating up at this point, Doug. That's now 3 first kills for him, who he started out 3 first deaths in this game.
Yeah. Flipping the script for sure. RGL the first to take contact there and dying to DG. So numbers in favor of Fury again.
It's a nice shot through the wall, a little dink on Khalil.
Calling my bot.
Khalil has been very disciplined on the safe side on this kill turret, falling all the way back in most instances. And I do like the discipline showed here from Furia. You get that first pick, Digizin's all the way back. Sometimes you might see him go for more, but now we're in a must-win position for them.
Here.
Yeah, Mazin the first of all. Heat finding a little bit more value now. 4v4. They've gotten A.
Welcome to
And they're going to drop the pit.
world.
Really nothing to counter here as far as ults go for Furia.
Spike planted.
You do have the knives from Digizin, and he still has an updraft, but no dash, so
Here.
a possibility of a dive bomb into the pit. But you're right. No other tools, no seekers, nothing like that. MW1 off of them. But you do have this big flank. I think he might high-tide it off. Yes, he just threw his cove down. So that turret not spotting right now.
He should have some time to think this through as well because the Cove just lasts
got the
so long
Seekers,
if it
he got
doesn't get
Seekers.
damage. Oh, but there were wides to the flank. The timing was great. That could have been disaster.
They're both 1 HP.
2v2.
Remaining.
Muri's left in a 1v1 now. He's
Time.
trying to talk. He's trying to stay alive, and he buys just enough time to secure the round.
That flank could have been so insanely good. But the pit enough. And also, MIBR with the foresight to pay attention to what was possible there on the flank. Yes, the turret was there, it was watching it, but they knew 2 possible smokes, 3 possible smokes on that turret. With the Jet, the Viper, and the Harbor as well. And it does make noise when it lands. So I'm curious if FRZ was actually able to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know how. It looked like he turned around at the very last second.
I would have loved to see that flank wait for the Seekers to actually engage. But I don't think you really knew that they were about to come up. MW got to spam through the smoke on you. Look at this aggro high tide. Normally this is to set up your Jet player, but Digitson is holding a main right now. And they just went for a little bit of exploration. And they realized they're going for that B control that MIBR has relied upon so much.
They're so concerned for the mid presence that even with the high tide there, they dropped a Trailblazer to make sure there's nobody coming.
And it was mostly a feint. They had 2 players still lurking in mid. So you knew the intention wasn't necessarily to commit past those walls on B. And now they've entered the mid round, swapping up JZZ's position towards A. So he's gonna throw a flash over here to try to get Digits in and some info. And he does spot him. Is that gonna be thinking that they're following up? Look at the cascade that just went up top mid. It's actually giving MW space to explore, so nobody moving on Furia.
The Reckoning confirms his suspicions. Vaccine trying to spam into the Cloudburst, swings out, still tinks 1, but that's all it is for now. 4v3 in favor of MIBR. The Reckoning is still scaling people away. And now the Cove to secure the land. Yeah. No flank this time.
You can put that down right now, yeah, if he wants to secure the round. Instead, they're going to take this for the post plan. I think it's an okay decision. Cove already used from QCK.
Found them. Bomb grenade out.
A little bit of additional safety, but we'll see if they try to
Oh, Digitson up top!
min-max a little bit too much. The flash splash the wall. QCK scaling up into Cubby. Off the tap.
I mean, they've got to get going on this half.
They're still hanging on to it. Choose to save the lockdown,
Remaining.
and it falls down to a 1v1.
This might not be a great plant here. JCC's not aware yet. He has to swing really wide.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there was a second there.
Yeah. I mean, he was flirting with time, dude. That was really close.
No charges.
That's now, I think, 3 or 4 rounds where Furia on the retake are taking way too long, and nobody is committing to trying to get half, to pressure the attackers to make a play. And I think there, in that instance, you're liking the idea for them to actually fight on site because of how hard these post plants can be on Pearl, and how insistent MIBR are going for this B long control. But neither of them fighting and getting super value while they're playing in the Reckoning that's the part that befuddles me a little bit.
DG used the blades at the beginning of the round, also has a shorty, which has been the cause of many an antic in the last couple of weeks. Thing is, they know, or they should have an idea. Yeah, he was just here in the previous round. This time some span to push him off the angle.
Poison's off.
Maybe he does have heal and get back up to max. And they're just doing basically the same thing they did in the mid round, but a little earlier and before the actual B pressure. There's no high tide here to really sell this by Muriz.
Toxin screen
Kind of just
down.
doing the Khalil strat, looking for picks by himself. Is there a leak on this A site is what MIBR is asking for right now. It's the KJ ult again. Remember, he saved it last round. They still won it. And this is the anti-eek.
30 seconds left.
DG's here, though.
Oh, they think it's a fake.
I wonder if they're just going to want to funnel out. They dropped the Seekers as well. Investing a lot of ults into this. Into this round that they, in theory, should not
The Vandal.
lose. One weapon upgraded, and now they're going to be able to approach us from a couple of different angles. You've
Where's the
got a couple
pace,
flanks.
though?
But you're right, the flanks are too slow. Time is short. MW's dead.
They haven't even re-cleared Art up to this point, and they're losing more control on the site themselves. They're investing the lockdown.
Or they just,
One down.
but they've lost
Wait,
contain.
they might be able to get on this, actually. There's no mollies. He might be able to stick here.
Enemy remaining.
Half.
Area's clear.
He had to pull off.
He had one more teammate alive.
Yeah, maybe. Still felt like a Hail Mary call.
Yeah.
Last round in the half.
Scratching my head on that one. They definitely had major tools to win this next one. They had a 4v5. Yeah, they had advantage player-wise, but only one Vandal.
Turret out.
MIBR dominating this first half. The defensive woes for Furia continue. And I thought that was comp-based, Doug. I thought that was because of the breach, because of the neon, not able to actually have... They have stall, but not in the right ways. You can't really end up stalling the chokes against the Viper Harbor. But on attack side, I thought that comp was really good at actually negating some of the values of Viper Harbor on defense. But maybe it's a more systemic thing here.
Note the difference in where he stopped the cascade here. It's normally much further back. This time he stopped at pillar, and I think it was because of the deep flash out from MW that threatened early fight be long.
And there was also a high tide too. So definitely what they're considering. Digis isn't with the op. Just gonna swing here. Right after the jiggle, but he doesn't hit the shot and he gets dinked instead. That one's gonna cost him. Look how fast. Look at that little adjustment on the high tide too. It's not stick spot.
They're cruising. Got a garage. It was so hard to do.
I remember what our Brazilian coworker said at the top of the day about Furia. Tashinya said, if they clean up this eco on this couple of opponents, it's lovely to see.
Much to a breath of fresh air is that map, and they also dropped a pit A to deny that space and force what's looking to be a very all the way back in garage. It was very safe.
Well done. In a situation, I actually thought the setup from Fury was quite good. I think a little bit of missed timing there from Khalil. You see he's actually in the middle of the animation where he's using his gravity well. Great round from Heat. Finally coming alive on this map.
4 kills in that round, totaling 6. Again, just kind of showing how the slow start that he had up until that point.
Not out of the bush yet. Back to this Viper wall on the B side. Muri has used this orb as well. But Digison is literally above it. So if you end up trying to lurk through, you will just go down to that op immediately. Will they pull Digison off? Peeking him, you're dead. And if you do focus on him, you're dead to the other guys. And to bring it back to this fight right here, Heat swing it ahead of.
Well, maybe there's hope, because we do have someone standing by who not only is criminally handsome and outrageously good looking, also decently intelligent at the game. We've got Sean standing by at the telestrator wall.
All right, Doug, thanks for that toss, I guess. But unfortunately, I'm not going to give you any positive notes here for MIBR. So this is going to look pretty bleak. This is just going to show the preparation that Furia had entering the opening pistol round of this game. Now, just watch right now on the minimap. So what you're going to see here off the bat is a lot of pressure from MIBR on Mail onto ropes, and it's because they know how this setup works. They know how this Viper and Astra like to control mid with the orb and the star as well. So you can see they approach mid at the start of the round, they're posturing, they're trying to sniff out the setup, and once they get ready for it, the orb goes up, paint shells into Mail from Heat, but if you pay attention here, you'll notice DG has rotated over and read the play already. So already in this round, Furia has made 2 huge adjustments, moving DG into the vents as a bait setup and leaving MW hidden for the ramp control. So watch as MW now controls ramp. You can see they go right into DG, and DG is going to rotate into heaven after this kill. They recognize right away that this is going to fall into an A hit because the two players maintain mid control. DG spots this into heaven, and the rotate is just picture perfect when you look at the minimap right now. You can see actually MW rotating through spawn, and his goal is to pick up screens. Meanwhile, the heavy part of this rotate is going to be focused on ramps, and the last person coming in as Astra will focus on heaven. This was just such a textbook opener from Furia and a well-designed approach at retaking the A site. And this is with a new comp, guys. So I am not having a lot of faith for MIBR in this comeback. I don't know how they're going to contain the double duelist here on attack, but I'm here for it. Anyway, back to you, Doug and Bala.
No hopium from Sean, no copium, and I'm going to be honest, I don't have any either.
Yeah. Nothing from Sean, nothing from MIBR. I mean, Furia, like you said, I mean, great adaptation in the mid-round there, and also I think just the element of knowing how teams are going to try to counter that Viper in mid. But you see the difference, right? MIBR's mid-round, how difficult it is for them to approach because of slight mis-executions and then how tough that is to follow up on. For Furia, the calls are great, and the execution is great where they end up in advantage consistently through the mid-round. Now they have to do it on the attack, though. And here's the first instance of the double dive for Furia.
And they go fast.
Very standard.
And, you know, maybe no need to reinvent the wheel, but MIBR making a run at this. QCK is left alone. He was all the way on the opposite side of the map.
Whoa.
No way, bro.
They don't hear that. I think FRZ might have heard him run away at the first instance. Yeah, he's reading it. He's reading it. And Heat's already looking at spawn, so they know what's going on. They must have heard him.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Cool idea, though. But you're right. Unlucky. Now the second pistol of the series going in favor of MIBR. But honestly, still so many other things they have to shore up.
And the time they have to do so is minimal.
Spike no chão, B.
Very, very minimal.
All dead?
Split is not as swingy as it once was, especially given the meta as it stands in this double duelist comp. But I mean, Sean was very...
Mostly watching and studying there. The comeback was hard because he said that they mais merit more than the rest of the team. So he said he'd be doing this through the whole week, during and energetic during this whole week, and it paid out today, and he did a great job.
All right, and my last question.
Eles estão ficando cada vez mais fortes. O que vai fazer a diferença?
Forte, querendo ou não, o estilo de jogo dos caras é muito testes lá, então vai ser jogo maneiro até pra mim. Então,
where I think, you know, they shine, right?